focuses on the resilient, adaptable hero, the dollar earner, a contributor to development. That's also the reason why the Global Forum on Migration and Development is being held here in the country. Thanks to the many civil society organizations and increasingly also the trade unions, organizing and the protection of migrant workers are an important part of the agenda. The government simply has to and has reacted to the manifold demands of the civil society organizations. It has made provisions for the preparation and on-site protection of migrant workers. This model is being sold as the best practice worldwide. Needless to say, many civil society organizations find much room for improvement and question the labor export policy and the underlying flawed development strategy. But tonight, we do not want to talk about migration. Tonight, we want to give you a chance to localize, to get an impression of the Philippine trade union movement. Now, the theme of our night, Forging Labor Unity, may sound a bit contradictory to the predominant image that the Philippine trade union movement has in the world. That image is one of being hopelessly fragmented and increasingly marginalized. It's not entirely false, given that close to 30,000 labor organizations exist in the country. There are 10 national centers and 186 federations. The labor systems with the enterprise bargaining and certification elections are systemic instruments for divide and rule and for competition among trade unions. The marginalization of the trade union movement is a result of the informal sector replacing the formal sector and the union avoiding strategy of many companies, which some say is tacitly supported by the government. The reaction to these problems, one of which is social movement unionism, still is finding its way to have a lasting impact. If we look at the private sector, unions have 1.6 million members. There are 1,600 CBAs covering only 230,000 members. In the public sectors, the figures are at least improving, with about 1,500 organizations representing 315,000 employees. But public sector unions have very limited rights, and they're excluded from the decision-making in the social dialogue. Given these facts, it's no surprise that trade unions have a relatively limited role in political decision-making and limited political power. There is, however, a different face to the Philippine trade union movement, and we hope to portray some new elements that are happening here in the movement. The overall weakening leads, on the other hand, to a strengthening of coordination, cooperation, and alliance building. Today, we find numerous coalitions on political issues, on trade issues, on wages, and in the